Okay, so this is number 4. This is what we talked about earlier, but I just think I confused you. So the question was, you have 1,600 riders in 1 hour. So they gave you that information. More given information, they said there's 345 people in line ahead of you. So they want to know, the question is, how many minutes will it take for you to get up to the front of the line? Okay, so there's a couple of ways, and they said about how many. So remember that about means you can estimate. A couple different ways to do this. I like setting up ratios. So this is people, and this is, oops, dadgummit. This is time, so minutes. Look, I looked at that. It's nice to know teachers make mistakes, huh? And this is people. So what I don't know is how long, so there's my question mark, how many minutes it's going to take for that amount of people. I know it takes 60 minutes for 1,600 people, but how many minutes does it take for 345 people? So I always like to simplify if I can, just to make life a little bit easier. Smaller numbers are always easier. So I'm going to go ahead and make this just a little bit smaller. I'm going to divide both of those by 10. And remember, I can divide anything as long as it's 1. And I'll get the same amount of stuff. It's just like equivalent fractions. So 1,600 divided by 10 is 160. 60 divided by 10 is 6. Okay, so I still have my people and my minutes. Okay, so it will take 6 minutes for 160 people. Well, let's look at this 345. I'm going to show you a quick and easy way. How many 160s are there in 345? Can you do in your head 160 times 2? That's one of those that I have in my head, 16 times 2. You may not. Let's think about that just a minute. 160 times 2, 0, 2, carry the run, 320. Huh. So it looks like, so I've got that in my mind. It looks like if I have 2 of those, 160 plus 160, that's 6 minutes plus 6 minutes, I'm going to end up with 320 people in 12 minutes. Well, I have 345. So can I just say 13 minutes? Right? Bump it up a little bit. So that would be an easy way to do that, wouldn't it? Because they said about. And you can think about how many 160s there are in that 345. And there's about 2 and a little bit more. So I'd say it's probably about 12 and a half minutes. You could round it to 13 to get the same answer that the teacher did. If I wanted to be more exact, this aside, I'm going to say my new simplified ratio here is the same as 345 over we don't know. Remember I told you about the butterfly method? Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to draw myself, and we'll make it a much more beautiful butterfly this time. And I multiply everything in one wing. So 160 times I don't know. And I'm going to say it equals what's in the other wing. So 345 times 6. So just remember that's equals that. Okay? Well, I don't know how to do that yet, but I know that I'm going to multiply that wing and then that wing, and they're going to be equal to each other. Okay, so I got to do that. I'm going to do it off to the side. 0, carry the 3. So that's 24, 27. And that was carry the 2. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, So I've got 2,070. Now it's different because before when we did it, we did 1,600 instead of the 160. I just like to make numbers as small as I can to start with. Okay, so let's rewrite our problem. So we're going to go down and we're going to say 160 times something equals 2,070. Okay, so I know that if I have this, I'm always going to take this number, and that's going to be my dividend. This is going to be my divisor. Okay, so I'm going to say this divided by that always. Okay, so the one that's still attached to the question mark is what you're dividing by. So I'm going to say, get rid of that, get rid of that. So I'm going to say question mark equals 2,070 divided by 160. Okay. Should we simplify? I think we probably could. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 10. I get 207 over 16. Now that's a much simpler division problem, isn't it? I could divide that. I'm going to get the same answer here and here. I'm just making that easier. So let's come over here and do my division. 16 will go into 21 time. And 16 will go into 47 3 times, almost. It'll really go 2 times, but we're going to round it to 3. 3 times 6 is 8, 48. So it's really close. It's 12, remainder 15 sixteenths, right? So I'm going to round that to 13. So my question marks was how many minutes, right? So let's rewrite this and we'll make it make sense. People, and this is minutes. And then I have 345 people. And remember my question mark was minutes. So I know that it's going to take 13 minutes for 345 people. 12 and a half, 13. So I get the same answer both places, right? Okay. Ratios are just the most beautiful thing ever. I don't know why I love them so much, but I do. Okay, so let's do one more ratio problem. And I'm going to say my peaches. Remember we did the peaches? 6 peaches for $3. But I only have $1. And I don't know how many peaches I can get. So I'm going to draw my lovely butterfly. I'm going to multiply what's in the wings. 6 times 1 is the same thing as 3 times question mark. Simplify this. And I always make the part that's connected to the question mark my divisor. So I'm going to say the thing that you multiplied, that you came up with a real number, the 6, divided by what's attached to the question mark. So this becomes 6 divided by 3 equals whatever my question mark is. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now I know that I can get 2 peaches for $1 and 6 peaches for $3, right? So let's look at that as equivalent fractions. Are those 2 fractions equivalent? Yeah, they both are equal to 2, aren't they? Okay, let that gel a minute. If you still have trouble with it, let me know. We'll come up with some better explanations. Okay, so number 6 was about the handshakes. This is complicated in its permutations, and anyway, let's just, it's easiest just to write it down. It takes a lot of writing, but they said the camp counselor's making you shake hands with all these people. So there's a total of 14 people. So that includes you, right? So you and person 1 shake hands. You and person 2 shake hands. You and person 3 shake hands. You and person 4 shake hands. So there's 1 handshake, 2 handshakes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 handshakes, right? Okay, well now person 1 is going to start shaking hands. He already shook your hand, so you can take that one out. He's going to shake person 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 all the way to 13. So there's only 12 handshakes because you've already shaken hands with him. Okay, person 2 is going to start shaking hands. Now, he already shook hands with you and person 1. So person 2 is going to shake hands with person 3, then person 4, person 5, person 6, person 7, blah, 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 all the way down. So that's 11 handshakes. So if you kept writing that out, let's do one more. We're going to say person 3. Now, he already shook your hand. He shook person 1's hand. He shook person 2's hand. So he's going to start shaking with person 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So how many handshakes does person 3 have, not counting you, person 1, person 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 handshakes, right? So if I look at this, I notice it's 13, and then I'm going to add the person 1, then add person 2, person 3. So essentially what I do is I say 13 plus 12 plus 11 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. And that's how I get to 91 handshakes. Again, there are ways to figure this out. It's a little bit easier. This is the way that will make sense to you now. And this might be one of those problems where they're trying to teach you to persevere. Keep at it. But that's how you do number 6. Okay, hope this helps, Seamus. Let me upload it to YouTube and I'll send it to you. Do let me know if you need more help, because I'll be glad to.